Stop! Wait. Have you hit that subscribe button down there yet? The subscribe button, the big red button that says subscribe, and ring the little bell so you get notifications to my videos. Senpai has. And if you love Senpai, you should go ahead and hit that little bell down there and the subscribe button so you can keep up with my daily content. And with that being said, let's go on to the video.
Casual consoles, he's seen you to that chair.
That's right, he's seen you to that chair. Hello YouTube, it's Gal from Casual Consoles, and today we jump back into another yandere simulator. Now this one is probably going to be more of a little bit of a laid-back video. We are going to explore the Headmaster's tapes. Now, what kind of secrets does he have? Could these secrets change the whole aspect of the game? I don't know. Let's go ahead and find out, shall we? Senpai! Oh, I missed you, my senpai. I missed you so much. We gotta get 2 pictures of you this time, because we missed last time. We forgot to get a picture of our senpai, and it is pretty much our ritual. We have to get a picture of our senpai at the beginning of school. Now, I still don't really see anything different here, but that's not what we're here for. We're here for those Headmaster's tapes. I want to know what this Headmaster is up to, what kind of secrets he has. So we need to go ahead and get into our classroom right quick. Bam, go to class, make sure it's lunchtime. I don't care which one. You know what, let's be buff. We're gonna be a buff yandere. Alright, so it is now lunchtime.
Get away!
I'm gonna do so many horrible things to you that involves death and dismemberment, but not today. We need to go up to the Headmaster's office, which is on the 3rd floor. There it is, the Headmaster's office. He's not in here now. Now, if you come in here like any other time, oh wow, there was actually more than 3 this time, and there's no key here. Last time what is that? Alright, so now I got more things. Alrighty. I just picked up a stapler. Oh! Oh boy!
I can get a katana.
Holy katana! Here we go. This room, right here, we need to just drop this because we don't want to be seen holding a weapon. So let's listen to these tapes. We got 4 out of 10. I don't have any idea where the other ones are. I believe these are the only ones that are available at the moment. I could be wrong, don't hold me to that, but let's find out.
Let's see, where to start? Well, I guess I'll start at the beginning. My name is Kocho Shiona, and I've just been chosen to be the headmaster of Academy High School.
Congratulations.
To be honest, I'm not sure if I really believe this is happening.
It's happening.
I keep pinching myself to make sure I'm not dreaming. I mean, the entire nation has been talking about this school for months. The idea of an elite high school that only opens its doors to the most intelligent students in Japan? A place for the most promising men and women of today to be transformed into the leaders of tomorrow.
Sounds promising. Very promising.
The sole purpose of being the most prestigious learning institute in the country. It's an ambitious undertaking, to say the least. But the thing that shocks everyone the most is that the school is being bankrolled by Psycho Corp.
Psycho
Who would have
Corp?
expected an electronics company to found a school? At first,
I guess there's
I
more
thought
odd
it was
things.
some kind of long-term business plan. Maybe they wanted to build a place to gather the best and brightest students of Japan and train them to be their next generation of employees.
I mean, that's not that
Turns
bad of a
out
plan,
that
is it?
I was wrong. Really wrong. And I got to hear the truth straight from Mr. Psycho himself. That's right. I just met the Psycho in person. I'm still shaking.
I don't know who he is, so I don't know.
Getting to meet Leonardo da Vinci, or Thomas Edison. I've lost count of how many things he's invented or improved. I don't think there's a single product in my home that doesn't have the Psycho logo on it. A man whose ideas and inventions changed the world. People like that are only born once a century. Anyway, The reason he built this school...
It's like meeting Steve
blew my
Jobs.
mind. It's not something he's ever mentioned in public, but he didn't tell me to keep it a secret either. So, here it is. It's his daughter. It's all for his daughter.
Who's his daughter?
He cherishes her more than life itself, even more than his multi-billion-dollar corporate empire. He wants to make her dreams come true. So he's building a high school customized to suit her exact tastes. The name of the school, the location, where it's being constructed, even the exact layout of the building. Everything was chosen by his daughter. His mission is to make sure that the best years of her life happen at Academy High.
It's one heck of
She
a
gets to decide who's
father
allowed
right
to
there.
enroll, she gets to decide the school's policies, and I'm pretty sure she gets to be the student council president starting from day one. No questions
Lucky her.
asked.
So she's the student council
So,
president.
not only will this school be a collection of Japan's most highly qualified teachers and most brilliant students, but it's also a giant, shining monument to a father's love for his daughter.
It's actually astounding.
It
Really.
almost brings a tear to my eye. And I'm going to be the headmaster.
You better not
I'm
screw
still
up.
surprised I actually had the courage to send in my application. I guess it's because the qualifications they were looking for seemed surprisingly low compared to the qualifications for every other
That's because
position
you're
in the
just a
school.
yes man.
In fact, Mr. Psycho told me I was perfect for the job after just asking me a few questions. There's a part of me that wonders if his daughter just wants the school's headmaster to have a certain appearance or a certain name or voice or something.
Most likely.
I'm not really sure if I got the job because I qualify for it or because I meet some invisible criteria that I'm not aware of. I guess Mr. Psycho could tell I was nervous because he gave me a gift. This portable tape recorder. One of his inventions. He told me that it's therapeutic to record an audio journal when you're feeling overwhelmed.
He invented
That's
the tape
whole reason
recorder?
I'm recording
Is
this
that what
right
you're telling
now.
me?
And I gotta say, it actually worked. I feel much better now. You know, this is kind of fun. It might turn into a habit. I can't stop thinking about the last thing he said before he left. He called me Headmaster Shuyona. It'll be a while before I get used to hearing that.
Headmaster. Headmaster tape number 2. But before we get that one, so it sounds like that our student council president is this dude's daughter. So, I mean, that's interesting. We haven't got a chance to kill her yet. I don't know if we're gonna have a chance in the future, but that would be kind of cool. Like, kind of like kidnapping and bribing the guy that built the school, and this big, huge, powerful man, you know, stealing his daughter and convincing him to, you know, do whatever we want. That'd be pretty cool. I would like that. That would be awesome. Yandere Dev, you should do that. All right, on to tape number 2.
Huh? Oh, wow. I didn't realize how much dust was on this thing.
Oh, this thing's 7
Well,
minutes long.
I suppose I should consider myself lucky. If I never use this thing, it means everything has been going so smoothly that I just never feel the need to vent. But something happened today that really threw me off. I wouldn't feel right talking about it with any of my colleagues, but I need to get it off my chest.
Someone stole my
So
weapon.
maybe recording my thoughts will help. Today, I visited Psycho headquarters for a routine meeting with Mr. Psycho, just as I've done dozens of times over the past few years.
Okay.
But today was different. He was angry, foul-mouthed, and short-tempered.
Everyone has bad days.
I'd never seen him like that before. He didn't reprimand me for anything, and we simply discussed the usual topics, but the entire time he seemed like he was on the verge of exploding.
That's quite concerning.
I was
Please
confused
say it
and
to me.
worried, and frankly, scared.
Don't mind me in here. I'm just listening to
His
Headmaster tapes.
secretary must have seen how shaken I was, because after the meeting, she took a moment to assure me that I hadn't done anything wrong, and that Mr. Psycho was angry about a personal matter. On most days, I would never dream of gossiping about the man who signs my paychecks, but my curiosity got the better of me, and I asked her for
You
details.
left this here.
She didn't know all the
It
specifics,
wasn't me.
but
I
she
didn't
knew
leave it
enough
there.
to give me a basic summary. Earlier that day, Mr. Psycho had a furious argument with his daughter, who graduated recently. Apparently, she doesn't want to inherit the company.
Oh, wow.
And she's decided to leave Japan to travel the world. This is absolutely unacceptable to her father, because he's invested a lot of resources into giving her the training necessary to take over his empire when he retires.
I mean, that's understandable.
He had absolute faith that his daughter would inherit his company when the time came, and her decision had invalidated all of his plans, along with many years of effort, not to mention an incalculable amount of money. After a long, heated discussion, well, more like a shouting contest from the sound of it, Mr. Psycho threatened to disown his daughter, and she had absolutely no problem with that.
Oh, wow.
He told her, "If you walk out that door, you're no longer a part of this family." And moments later, she left his office without a word. Mr. Psycho is a man who refuses to compromise and only accepts the results he wants. I'm 100% certain that from this day forward, his daughter is dead to him.
Well,
The secretary told me a little more about the way Mr. Psycho raised his daughter. Starting from early childhood, she was given training to prepare her for the responsibilities that come with operating a company. Training that became more advanced and intense with each passing year. Mr. Psycho also has a son, but he didn't put his son through the same sort of training as his daughter. Instead, he granted his son a perfectly normal childhood, perhaps out of guilt for what he did to his daughter. But now he's making preparations to rapidly change the direction of his son's life, so the boy will acquire the traits and skills that his sister spent her entire life developing. The strangest part is the exact reason why Mr. Psycho's daughter wants to travel the world. One phrase the secretary kept hearing was, "my sister."
my sister.
Apparently, Mr. Psycho's daughter is absolutely convinced that she has a sister somewhere in the world, and that she needs to find her. But Mr. Psycho only has 2 children. So, if she says she has a sister, there are 3 options. She's speaking figuratively, she's actually become delusional, or Mr. Psycho has an illegitimate child.
It's very possible, especially if you're a billionaire.
At this point, the secretary decided she'd said too much, and stopped talking. I had a feeling I was starting to tread on dangerous ground, so I chose not to pry any further. Even though I wound up with more questions than answers, at least now I know why he was so angry. Losing his daughter, along with more than a decade of money, planning, effort, must be an incredibly painful experience. But after hearing all this, it'll be hard for me to look at him the same way I used to.
Why?
He told me that he built Academy High to give his daughter the perfect, ideal high school life. But now I think that was just a cover story. I think he built Academy High and made his daughter the student council president to put her through the experience of being in charge of an organization.
That makes sense.
The school wasn't a gift from a father to a daughter. It was just another component of her lifelong training, another step in the process of turning her into the perfect CEO. A training simulation. And now he's going to put his son through an accelerated version of that process. Poor boy. It doesn't surprise me at all that she defied her father and ran away from all that. But in the end, it wasn't pressure or stress that made her reject her father's wishes. It was this weird notion that she has a sister.
Okay.
Maybe all the stress drove her crazy.
Who's her sister?
The weirdest thing of all is that when I imagine Mr. Psycho with another daughter, I have a mental image of what she would look like. But I get a headache if I picture her in my mind for too long. Man, really creeps me out.
Watch it be my mother.
Academy High was built solely for one girl, and that girl has graduated. What happens next? I was afraid the school was going to be shut down, but apparently Mr. Psycho just wants me to continue business as usual. A lot of the students who graduate from this school get offers from Psycho Corp almost immediately after graduation. So I guess this place really did turn out to be a training ground for future Psycho employees after all. I don't feel angry or sad, just disenchanted. Well, it's an easy job, and I can't argue with the pay, so I guess I'll just stay on my current course for now. Man, even though I know that nobody is going to listen to this tape, I feel way better after recording my thoughts. I guess Mr. Psycho's gift was good for something after all. Thanks for hearing me out, Mr. Tape Recorder. With that said, I hope I don't have to use you again anytime soon.
Well, we learned a few things from that tape, that's for sure. There might be another child of Mr. Psycho, and my idea went right out the window. I should have listened to the tapes before suggesting things, because you can't kidnap someone if they're traveling the world and they're already grown up and not even in school. But you know what? I don't really feel too bad for both of them, because like, she just went on doing whatever she wanted to do. And, I mean, you can't force anybody to really do anything. He spent all that money and effort trying to set her up for success one day, but, you know, that's just not what she wanted to do. But at least he has a backup. He's got his son to take over the business. So let's go ahead and do number 6.
I saw her. That woman. I saw her again. The one who's responsible for everything.
That one's different.
Perhaps I'll start at the beginning.
Yes, please.
Every week, I travel to Psycho Corporate headquarters to have a meeting with Mr. Psycho about Academy.
Okay.
This time, I arrived a few minutes earlier than expected. I asked the secretary if it would be all right to begin the meeting early, but she refused. She told me that Mr. Psycho had another appointment right before mine, and that I'd have to wait my turn before I could see him. I took a seat and began to wait. That's when she walked into the room.
Who is she?
It's been 10 years, but not a single day has gone by that I haven't thought about her.
Is that your
The
senpai?
one who ruined everything for me.
No, it's not your
I
senpai.
recognized her immediately. She had aged, but I could still tell it was her. She glanced in my direction for a moment, and our eyes met. She smirked, but said nothing to me. She walked straight through the waiting room and directly into Mr. Psycho's office, without even speaking a single word to the secretary.
Oh, wow.
At first, I was speechless. Then I jumped out of my seat and asked the secretary to identify that woman. The secretary was silent for a few moments, and then gave me some generic platitude about how the details of Mr. Psycho's appointments must be kept strictly confidential.
Oh, wow.
That didn't stop me from asking everything that came to mind. How long had that woman been coming here? How often? What business did she have here? But the secretary was like a stone wall that refused to budge.
It's a pretty good
I couldn't
secretary.
just leave it at that. I left the waiting room and asked the nearest employees if they could help me. When they saw how distraught I was, they were eager to help, but when I asked them if they had seen that woman who just walked by, their attitudes changed in a heartbeat. They slowly turned away from me and returned to their work in silence.
That's
They
odd.
ignored me, as if I wasn't even there. I haven't been treated like that since I was a schoolboy. I returned to the waiting room and paced back and forth anxiously, waiting for that woman to exit Mr. Psycho's office. I'd spent years fantasizing about an encounter like this one. I had rehearsed every single word I would say to her if I had an opportunity to speak with her again. I was fully prepared to tell her exactly how I felt about her actions 10 years ago.
Who
Then
is she?
I heard the secretary's voice. Mr. Psycho will see you now. I was baffled. That woman was still in the office, wasn't she?
Oh, wow.
Why would the secretary send me in there? I was confused, but eager to see that woman again. I approached the door to Mr. Psycho's office. I remember that my hand was actually trembling as I gripped the handle. I took a deep breath and opened the door to his office, expecting to see her standing there, but she wasn't. The only people in that room were Mr. Psycho and his son.
Where'd she go?
I entered the office and looked around in confusion, wondering where that woman could have been hiding, but but she was nowhere to be seen. Mr. Psycho asked me what was troubling me, and I told him exactly what was on my mind. That woman, the one who walked into your office a few minutes ago, where is she? When did she leave? But Mr. Psycho didn't reply. He only smirked.
She's under the desk.
Amused by the situation.
She might be under the desk.
Asked me to take a seat. He tried to talk about academy, like usual, but I wasn't having any of it. I didn't want to let go of the subject, and I kept asking about that woman. Mr. Psycho's amusement quickly turned to irritation, and he firmly asked me to keep our conversation to the matter of academy. Mr. Psycho can be quite imposing, even while remaining civil, and from that moment onward, I was too scared to pursue the matter further. I dropped it, and we proceeded to have a standard meeting. As ever, Mr. Psycho's son stood behind his father in silence. Mr. Psycho had never told me the exact reason why he keeps his son at his side during business meetings. It's most likely that it's a form of training.
That's what I would figure. It's like a shadowing.
The type of interactions he'll be having on a daily basis once he inherits his father's empire. As the years passed, I have watched Mr. Psycho's son grow from a young boy into a young man. But I can count on one hand the number of times I've heard him speak. The meeting adjourned. I made one last attempt to bring up the subject of that woman, but Mr. Psycho interrupted me and bid me farewell. I knew that I wouldn't be able to get anything out of him, so I simply left. I questioned the secretary again, but nothing. I got nothing. I attempted to talk to the nearest employees, but they politely excused themselves. It was as if that woman was a taboo subject that no one was allowed to speak of.
I wonder if that's my mother.
She was a mere hallucination. Something I dreamt up. No, I didn't just imagine her. I saw her. I didn't catch her out of the corner of my eye. I didn't glimpse her for only a moment. We looked directly at each other, but what business would that woman have with Mr. Psycho? What could he possibly want from her?
That's a good question. That is a very good question.
Why did the secretary acknowledge her when she walked in, and how did she leave his office? There was only one way to leave that room, and I was standing right in front of it.
I'm telling you, she was under the table.
It doesn't make any sense.
Under the desk.
I won't give up here. I'm going to dig for answers until I'm forced to stop. I don't know how much I'll be able to learn, but it can't end here. It can't.
Alright, so he's got an obsession with this woman. And I have a strong feeling that this woman might be my mama. Because everyone has a strong obsession with my mama, but she only has obsession for her senpai. Like I have for mine.
Different ways it could have turned out.
It's either he got a lot older or that's a different person.
A few days ago, I received an email with screenshots of certain directories on my personal computer.
Okay.
I don't know how anyone could have managed to accomplish something like that, but I can only assume that this person must have been some kind of top-class computer hacker. They threaten to expose what I've been doing unless I meet their demands.
Are you talking about going on dates with Coconut?
Being discovered and blackmailed has been my worst fear for over a decade now, but this person, whoever they are, isn't asking for money. Instead, they want complete ownership of a single room at Academy High.
And what room would that be?
They intend to occupy this room for a full semester, and they have made it very clear that they are not to be disturbed for any reason.
What room?
I have no clue what they intend to do in this room, but I'm not really in a position to decline. All things considered, this situation isn't as bad as it could have been. They could have demanded an absurd sum of money, and instead, all they want is
A room. Their request seemed harmless enough, and there was a suitable room available, so I decided to comply with their demands.
That wouldn't be the info room, would it?
Well, it's not like I really have a choice in the first place. They also asked me to make sure that the room has certain equipment inside of it before they arrived.
Like what?
Computer monitors and hard drives.
Yes! It's Info-chan! I
We
know
already
it!
had a surplus of supplies like that, so it wasn't a problem. The tricky part was convincing the rest of the faculty not to enter a specific room for any reason, and not to question it either. I spent a long time mulling it over and eventually came up with a cover story that seemed convincing enough to believe. To be perfectly honest, I'm a little proud of it. I told the faculty that a special needs student with extreme agoraphobia wishes to attend Academy High.
It's agoraphobia.
Because of their intense social anxiety,
Oh.
they will remain secluded
Okay.
in one of the school's rooms and are not to be disturbed because it would trigger a panic attack. Teachers will record their lectures when class is in session and email these recordings, along with class assignments, to the reclusive student once per day. I will personally handle anything else the student requires, such as meals at lunchtime. Some of the teachers thought my story sounded a little sketchy.
Just a little bit, yeah.
And wanted to hear details. Their questions were harmless, but I was sweating bullets, and I felt like I was being interrogated by the police. Eventually, I convinced them to believe the cover story, and the meeting ended with the faculty praising me for being so accommodating to a mentally handicapped adolescent. I felt a little guilty for deceiving them, but it's far from the worst thing I've done.
I wonder what all
The only
you've
thing
done.
that matters is the end result. We now have a room which is off limits to student and faculty alike. The hacker never told me their name, age, even their gender. It's frustrating. If I'm going to be put through such a harrowing experience, I at least want to know who's behind it.
Yeah, it'd be nice, wouldn't it?
I set up a hidden camera outside of the room that has been set aside for the hacker. When I got into work this morning, I checked the recording, only to find that it had been replaced with a graphic of a black silhouette wearing a red wig.
It's probably not the smartest thing to do, guy.
Don't try this again.
Yeah, exactly.
The message has been received, loud and clear. I asked the hacker if they needed anything else from me. Daily meals or anything of the sort. They told me not to worry about them, and to simply go about my business as usual. They explicitly told me to pretend they don't exist. It's going to be nearly impossible for me to put them out of my mind when they could end my career with a single click.
That has to be pretty rough.
It feels like there's a slimy creature crawling underneath my clothing, and I simply have to grit my teeth and live with it. Then again, I don't really have any right to complain. Perhaps this is simply karmic retribution for my actions. It's very fortunate that these little therapy sessions were confined to cassette tapes. If I had been making digital recordings instead, the hacker would have a lot of very dangerous information right now.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
With that said, I no longer feel comfortable keeping these tapes around. They're too much of a liability.
So that's why they were in the trash.
I should dispose of them, but it would be such a shame. 30 years of my innermost thoughts just tossed away like trash. It would feel like I'm wiping someone's memory. What was the point of recording anything at all if I was just going to destroy it one day? There was never anyone in my life who I felt comfortable expressing my anxieties to. This tape recorder has been like a close friend who I could trust with my deepest secrets. I know I have to dispose of these tapes, but maybe I'll keep them for a few days.
Well,
Listen
I have them now.
one last time. Try to figure out where it all went wrong. Then dispose of them when I've said my goodbyes. But there is one tape that I'm already prepared to part ways with.
What tape's that?
The tape I made after Mr. Psycho's recent, demands.
Where's this tape?
It's far, far too risky for a recording like that to exist. That one must be destroyed immediately.
And I want it. Where is it? Where is my tape? Well, there you go, everyone. That was the Headmaster's tapes, and they were definitely leaving me with a lot more questions than answers. That's for sure. There is a lot of stuff going on at this school, and I'm curious on if this tape that he's talking about that needs to be destroyed immediately is actually, findable, that I can get my grubby little yandere hands on it. But yeah, there's some shady stuff going on here, and I am intrigued, and I want to uncover every bit of it. Well, if you like the content, make sure to like, comment, subscribe down below. Stay casual, and I'm out of here.